as a dreamer, always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars, to change the world. We are all dreamers. These dreams can be simple emotions or complex goals or purposes. Regardless of the context of the dreams, you must have strength, patience, and passion to create change with them. Recently, I went on a civil rights trip with my school, and from it, I understood what Harriet Tubman meant. Harriet Tubman says we must dream the impossible and never let anything hinder us from it. The civil rights movement had the goal of ensuring that every African American was treated equal. People in the movement had different ways of achieving this dream, which reflected their passions. Flondy Brown Wright was in charge of feeding and housing 3,000 people who were involved in a march in Mississippi. Her passion was helping people. So that's what she did to affect change. And on the trip, she told me about these passions. Another dreamer in the civil rights movement was Thurgood Marshall. He was the lead attorney in Brown versus Board of Education, ending segregation, and later influenced civil rights further as our first Black Supreme Court judge. Harriet Tubman says that we need strength to achieve our dreams. And an important source of strength in the civil rights movement was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King had the ability to move people with speech. And with that, in the community of the church, he fought for human rights. Dr. King marched, and the danger that he faced showed the strength of his conviction. On the Edmund Pettus Bridge, Dr. King marched, not knowing what was on the other side. And he continued to march, despite the attacks of tear gas and the blows from billy clubs. Dr. King also showed a quiet strength outside of the marches and protests. For example, he comforted people when their family members were in jail and just made people feel as though that they had the power to make a change. Patience is the state of endurance under difficult circumstances. The A&T4, who wanted their manhood and their black rights, sat at the FW Woolworth counter to demand it. And many others who held sit-ins showed an incredible amount of patience. Despite being cursed at, spit on, and hit, they sat. And they sat. And their patience sent a clear message that they were not going to give up until they achieved their dreams. On the trip, I was also able to speak with Roscoe Jones, an activist who worked closely with the creation of Freedom Schools. He said, as we go home to create change, to answer 3 questions. Who am I, where am I going, and what can I do to better it? And my response to those 3 questions are that I am a lifelong learner and educator who will carry on Dr. King's dream and legacy and fight for a world where I am not judged by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. And as I go on to pursue this dream, to continue the march for equal rights, when it gets too hard or seems impossible, I will remember Harriet's words. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars, to change the world. Thank you.